So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all everywhere. I'm Tanetta, and I am hopefully going to do this. My phone keeps cutting off. It says it's hot, so I'm going to give it a little shade. Got the air on, so hopefully it's not too loud where you can't hear me. So that's the hope. We'll see what happens. This is probably take 3, 4, I don't know. Nevertheless, I'm reading a really good book. Of course, I'm sharing it. I'm not going to share all the time. I just tell you what I'm reading. The author, I actually got in touch with the author. He actually is the father of one of my coworkers, but I didn't meet him that way. He just said something really great on Facebook, and I think we end up I liked it, and when connecting that way and found out that I worked with his daughter at some point. Really great person. So he's a new grandpa with her, and I was excited, and whatever. Okay, so the book, before I get into, I'm going to show you the book, but I want you guys to know what's going on and try to do this as fast as possible. But I'm reading this book, and let me see, I know it's going to be backwards, so let me try and do it the other way. Let's see what I can do. Nope, not going to happen because I'm in my car. So anyway, it's yeah, that's not working. So you see, can you see that? Get that ring. So yeah, he had a really good man in his quote, and apparently it was you know, some things that he said in his book that I was like, that's really great. So his book says a good woman can find a good man, get that ring, and his name is Dion L White. I know it's backwards again, but I just wanted you to see the cover. And this is the gentleman, and so nevertheless, he expressed some things that had happened in his life and what encouraged him to write the book, and I was really impressed with it. So since I'm reading it and I'm supposed to be doing my testimonies at this point, I haven't been able to really get into them right now, as I still will be obedient to the Lord. I have gotten some requests for some specific ones, and one in particular right now is domestic violence. That is a lot for me to kind of deal with emotionally, so I just want to really be in my prayer closet when I do domestic violence, since it's very real for me. I lived it, and so nevertheless, for today, I was going to talk a little bit about when I read his book. He said some he says a lot of great things, but I wanted to go back to his insert, in his introduction, his essential pieces of advice. He goes into self-esteem, and in self-esteem, I'm going to read some of his inserts. I'm going to read all of his stuff because I need y'all to buy the book. And so if you want the book and you can't find the book, I'll let you know how to get the book. So it's not a paid sponsorship. I don't know him like that. It's just a really good book. So and I don't even hang out with his daughter like that. We no longer work together. It's just, for the record, it's just I give credit where credit is due. And so I've just been going through a lot lately. Those of you who know me know that I've just lost my great nephew, and it's been really, really difficult. I wear a smile all the time, but in my moments of crying in my room are the moments that no one gets to see. So we're going to try this video again, seeing that it keeps cutting off from the heat no matter what I'm doing. So hopefully it works. Everything that I do because of him, and hopefully what I say will encourage someone else to better themselves, better their lives. So yeah, a lot of the videos that I do are reflections of me, so that I can go back on them, kind of see my growth and my regression, my progression, right? So so nevertheless, Please pray me through as I am preparing for the goodbyes of my great nephew. There are a few people that I call my number one. And his mother, we just laid to rest in 2021. So we're still dealing with that, accepting that to get this blow. So she's my first niece. I have another one, but I didn't know about her at the time. And so she's my first niece that I knew about. And so I call her my number one. I called her my number one. And now her son, she gave me my first great nephew. So because she gave me my first great nephew, I would call him my number one. So both of them, especially my great nephew, when I'd see him, get our little dance on and say, hey, number one. And so, and I would tell him, I'm your number one auntie, right? Yeah. Whatever. He's got great aunts and he's got wonderful aunts and wonderful great aunts. And I just want to put that out there. And just keep me in prayer, keep my family in prayer. All right, so I'm 6 minutes in. I want to hurry up and get through this. I'm talking about self-esteem. And so, and then again, I will get back to the testimonies. And so I might be in this shirt again doing a testimony. I know I did a little insert on do to others as you want them to do to you today. So, today's been a very peaceful day with the Lord. So I wanted to just talk about this. He gives this dissection of self-esteem, and it says, quote, according to the Mayo Clinic Foundation, self-esteem is an overall opinion of how you view yourself, how you honestly feel about yourself, and how you truly value yourself. Self-esteem involves judging your self-worth as a person. In comparison, women with healthy self-esteem feel good about themselves and believe that they are worthwhile. On the contrary, women with low self-esteem put little value on their opinions and ideas and constantly think that they are not good enough. Consequently, having low self-esteem can lead to bad choices, such as quitting everything you start, not liking what you see when you look in the mirror, as well as attracting the wrong types of people. I definitely can attest to this. I've lived this. I have had moments of low self-esteem. I probably had more moments of low self-esteem than higher esteem growing up. And I didn't want to read all that. He had mentioned that personal accomplishments are one of the most important forms of experiences that influence our self-esteem. And then it drops down. He says, as a result, it says, because without the success of accomplishments, women tend to feel inferior to their counterparts. So as I go down, it says, this is why women are big fans of reassurance, because the more they hear how great they are by their family and friends, they begin to believe that there is some truth in the words that are being spoken. On the other hand, if one is told that they are nothing and they won't amount to anything, then chances are that the person will manifest those negative words of their life. So if you've been following any of the things that I've been going through, my journey and my testimony, I have a testimony on humiliation, which really came from my father. My father was, part of that oxymoron of building me up and tearing me down all at the same time. Of, oh, she's the greatest, you're really smart, she's smart, always wanting to show me off to his friends, like, man, she's really great. But then at the same time telling me, you're not going to be nothing, you're just going to be, probably you'll just grow up and be a hoe, or whatever. And it was like, wow, this is the same man who said, you're going to be the best at whatever you do because I chose right in choosing your mother. And knowing that, my mother wanted a lot. She wanted more for her children. She had 3 children, and he liked the way she was raising the 3 she had. And so I know that his words ring true, especially in my life. And as a therapist, these words ring true. Constantly, the reassurance, always needing the reassurance, has been my biggest downfall of not succeeding. People see lots of things in me and will tell me, man, you've got it all. And I'm sitting there going, what do I have? Because that reassurance was not reassured by family and friends. It wasn't validated to say, hey, you know, you're going to be this, you're going to do well. With every compliment that came in my family, there was always a tear down behind your back, or, you know, or something smart like, oh, you're going to have all the family support because you're sick, you know. And it was like, whoa, instead of just saying, you know, you'll have the family support because, you know, we're here for you, you know, you got this, you're going to be a great mom, or whatever. So I was always looking for that validation because I wasn't being esteemed through the family to reassure my own self-worth, my own, to build my own self-esteem. And like he said, on the other hand, if you're told that you're nothing, you're not going to amount to anything, then the chances will that, you know, the person's going to manifest those negative words in their life. And there are lots of things that made me self-doubt myself all of the time, even when I was right. Lots of times in school, breaking down in college and in graduate school, of having the work done but afraid that it wasn't perfect, and that I didn't have those validations of, Tanetta, you can do this, when it came to the closest people who would assure me. I didn't have it. So I broke down in a class once because I was so terrified that I'd give the wrong answers, and I was known as Mama Bear. So it's like I thrived on perfection, and here it was, an opportunity in front of everybody where I wouldn't be. It was really hard for me, and I still struggle with those things sometimes, because you can't just go through life and it's just over because you're in therapy or you've learned better tools. It's a practice, you know, it's a practice. So and I appreciate learning the more about myself. I'm in a better place in my life, knowing my self-worth, knowing my value. I'm still trying to figure out what people say, but God is showing me who I am in Him. And so because of that, I'm able to embrace who I am in myself, to go, ha, that's me. So if you're going through the same thing, have your aha or your ha moment of knowing your self-value, your worthiness, and building your own self-esteem. And then sometimes people aren't going to do them for you, especially if you grew up in foster homes or in centers like CPS warded facilities. You're not gonna get that. You know, you may have a great friend that kind of builds you up, or a great teacher or a therapist, somebody in there. You're gonna have to hold on to those words and build yourself in those words, no matter how many 20,000 other negative vibes you got, the words that you got. You can break through it. It's just going to be tougher, harder. You're going to have some tenacity. You know, you're going to have to grow I don't know, big, long vibes of tenacity to be determined to get over the hurdle. But in this advice, in the self-esteem advice, he gives the quote, "The worst loneliness is not to be comfortable with yourself." Mark Twain. Those are profound words. I never knew that Mark Twain, I never heard this quote before. And I would understand this as there was a time in my life, there was a space where the loneliness was so bad for me, and that I just didn't understand it, and not having my family, not having my friends, not having, or the people that I thought were friends, and then learning that they weren't. That lonely place was like, oh my gosh, it was bad. So I had to deal with me all by myself, even going through the journey of finding me all over again. In the ladder of life, it was the loneliest time, and it was lonely because I had to deal with me on me terms. I was me on life's terms that day, those moments, those seconds, and not turning to things that would not be in my best interest. Calling up some dude on the phone going, hey, can you just cuddle me today? Or giving into sex when that's not what I want to do. And so to fill the emptiness of those holes, it was more about learning me and letting God be God, and embracing the love that he has for me. Like, how do you do that when you're used to physical touch and you're having to have the Holy Spirit let God in to go, hey, I'm here for you, and you're like, yeah, I'm used to, whatever, right? Or even learning to give yourself physical touch in such a way that's not masturbation or nothing. Hold up. I mean, like, learning to hold yourself, learning to rub yourself and be comfortable with that. Learning to look at yourself in the mirror and be comfortable with that, going, hey, beautiful, you're looking pretty good today, things of that nature. And so, getting comfortable with yourself. For me, I like pampering myself. I like taking myself out. I will take myself out on a date. I will send myself flowers. And it's just because I am very comfortable with knowing, like, hey, that's who I am and that's what I like. There's no reason for me to wait on it from anybody else. If you give it to me, I am like smitten, but nevertheless, he goes on to say, let me see, in the beginning of this, I'm only going to read that paragraph. Yeah. He will go on after this paragraph to talk about his birthday and his daughters, and esteeming himself as he's gotten older, and how his girls are teasing him about, he's getting old, he's got gray hairs and blah blah blah, and his response is, getting older makes you better, like that's what that means. And it's so true that it should make you better. You've learned things, you've earned things, and you're wiser, and honestly, you're more attractive the older you get. I'm just putting it out there. You might be real cute, but beauty is fading. But as you get older, you start learning things about yourself and building your self-awareness and your confidence and your self-esteem and the love that you have for yourself, because age is not a number. Age is about the mentality. Well, age is the number, but the maturity isn't in the number. The maturity is about the mentality, and the mentality comes from having the self-esteem, having the self-confidence, having the self-love that you have for yourself, having the best attitude about you, yourself, your life, others, not just, all the negative experiences you have, but turning those things around, being able to see the glass half full as opposed to half empty. So having that sense of having great optimism. Did I say that right? Because I'll be struggling with words. Being optimistic about life and optimistic about things. I think it's a fantastic, and no matter how many times you fail, you keep going and you keep trying, and you have that tenacity and that resilience, and that positive vibe, that's positive vibe. That's positive. So if you haven't listened, I just did a video saying, treat people the way you want to be treated. And it talks about those positive vibes and not getting stuck into the negativity cycles, calling them positive vibes because you're trying to feel good about yourself in a negative space. It just doesn't work. I play this video game called Skyrim, right? Don't judge me. But anyway, there's these books that you go into, and it's like a dream space. It's like it's all war, it's all weird, it's black and all kind of stuff, and it's got these weird creatures running around like evil spirits, right? And so I have to pray when I played the game. And so it puts you in that state. Like, how positive can you possibly stay in that state of mind? Because it's a state of mind. This book, you start reading and you go into a whole nother space in the head. And okay, so I had to do 2 videos because I was taking too long. So make sure that you look at the next video. Look at the first video before you read this one. Let me get to the point. So because I have 8 minutes left. So self-esteem, he said, whether you're looking for a good man or you just want to be single by choice, as he's talking to the women in this book. And men, you can learn a lot, so don't get it twisted. It's relatively important to understand that one's self-esteem dictates how far they will get in life. A person who is characterized with either a high or low self-esteem will find that their self-esteem can either make them or break them. On the other hand, the higher a person's self-esteem is, strengthens their chances of being successful in many aspects of life. For instance, in the workplace, relationships, owning a company, plus much more. The way in which one feels about themselves is essential in terms of prosperity and where they're going in their future. Now remember, if you just watched the first video before this, remember I said there are many things that I've done in life, and my esteem is what stunted my own growth. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know how to love myself. I did not have, as he says in the definition, in the dissection of the self-esteem, is my overall opinion of me felt good, but I didn't have the reassurance, the validation from family and friends to kind of mold me to believe it. It was like, I know it's there, but I'm scared of it. And I'm scared of it because nobody's validated to let me know that it's really there. So there were things that I was doing that was like greatness, and people were like meeting me that weren't close to me, that were like, oh, this is wonderful, this is going to be a great idea, this is going to be a great business, this is going to be fantastic. And for me, I grew up thinking, I just want a really good mentor, I just really want a good man on my side to kind of help me through it. Excuse me. Because I was so scared to step out on my own, because I did not have the reassurance that esteemed me to say, I'm good enough. This idea, I believe it like they believe it. So I just wanted to give that information to you. It's sad I had to make this extra video because I was talking too much, but I don't want to redo the video. So I'll see if I can go home and clip it together. If not, then there's 2 videos. So hopefully I can do it. But if not, y'all know I'm not that savvy with it, right? Okay. But yeah, I just really wanted to talk about the esteem and building each other up, and stop thinking like, oh, I'm gonna make their head get big. I'm gonna, I know people that will be like, oh, I'm not gonna tell them that because their head is gonna get big. I need your head to get big a little bit. I needed my head to grow, because what was happening is, you see how I shrink back? That was my fear. That was my not reassured. I'm scared. I'm like, oh, my head is shrinking, my whole body's shrinking. My whole projection is, I'm not sitting here confidently like that. But when I sit up straight and I'm talking to you, I'm confident about who I am. I have this esteem. I'm reassured when you guys give me the likes, when you guys say, hey, Tanetta, great video, and I really like this, and you give me the pros and the cons of my videos. It's absolutely wonderful, because it's reassuring me that I'm doing something correct. And I'm really grateful for you guys that are really reassuring me in what I'm doing and telling me to step out on faith and trust God. And thank you so much. And especially in the line of business that I am, I was totally nervous, and I'm just really appreciative of the genuine friends that I have been here along the way, and the great ministries of people that are supporting me, the great counselors, my overseer who's been overseeing my spirit while I don't have a church home. Let me give the shout out to Praise Tabernacle. Tongue tied. Out to Bishop Wyatt and First Lady Wyatt. Thank you so much. Let me give the shout out to I forgot your church. I'm so sorry. He's my spiritual mentor, my spiritual counselor. Him and his wife are wonderful. That is Pastor Junior Tucker and his wife, First Lady Trudy, in Jamaica. Shouts out in Jamaica. And so they contact me and have been there for me. And I just really want to thank those 4 individuals for just being there, being the ear on the phone, and being, the person in my text messages or my WhatsApp, so thank you. I love you for reassuring me in my older age to get back, so it's never too late to get back to knowing who I am in Christ, and knowing it myself, and not caring about what everybody says. Shoot, Jesus got more haters than everybody to this day. And so I'm clearly far from him, but I'm so grateful, and I'm grateful for all of you guys who are praying for me and my family. I appreciate it. Please pray my strength in the Lord, as every day is a grateful opportunity to breathe and share and do whatever it takes. I'm going through a lot. You have no idea. But the best part about it is that I know who God is, and I can't wait to have that testimony about what I'm going through right now in this space that I can't really talk about, because I'm waiting for the aha of it to go, now I get it. Because if there's nothing else that I don't know, I know how good God is. And so somebody said, oh, I'll pay for it for you. I said, no, I got it. And they was like, no, they knew my financial situation. And I was like, girl, I got it. And she was like, what? I said, God always gets me through it. No, he doesn't want me to spend frivolously, but I don't think this is frivolous, this fellowship time we're having. And God always gets me through no matter what. I don't care if I have to live in my car. I know God has a reason for everything that he does. So just pray my strength in the Lord with everything that's going on with my nephews, trying to get my other nephew here to he'll be coming, and so really just trying to get him back. I love you all. You've been the best support ever, and love you. Peace.